We had one question here. Have you worked in IT from the start? Have you been leading projects in IT industry from the start, or you switched industries?
I did switch industries from the start. I would say, more in a service industry. I would say mixture of IT and service industry, because the goal of my initial work engagement when I started the career was to improve a public service, let's say. It did involve an IT part. However, throughout the last decade or so, I did move to HR projects,
Okay.
which is a very interesting experience, because it does give you a totally different perspective to how project management is perceived, how projects are organized in a different industry, and the common understanding of terminology which tends to build up in a specific industry, meaning that people who work in IT assume that other people working with them would understand certain terminology, which in HR, of course, exists, but again, it's a different terminology. Hence, one needs to overcome that language barrier, I would call it, which is a wake-up call, I guess, for anybody changing industries.
That's maybe it's a good segue to go there. We spoke about where the focus points are in different industries, and especially regarding a stakeholder management. And what do you see there? How you communicate? What is the focus in let's say IT industry, and what is the focus in HR industry? It was interesting perspective that you had.
Yeah, I think figuring this out and understanding it on a very basic level is what took me the most time, because if you think about any project, what you're aiming to achieve is understand who the audience is, who the consumers of what that project delivers are. And in IT, in essence, what you're delivering is a new service or a new functionality. There might be some hardware or something like that involved, but the aim of that is to work. Okay, so it needs to work smooth. If there are problems, then you messed up. Then the service is not good. However, when it comes to aesthetics, I highly doubt that there's going to be a senior manager who's going to come to you as a provider or a project manager, for that matter, and say that this solution is not pretty enough or something like that. That's unlikely to happen. However, in HR projects, which have high visibility in the organization, and HR topics are usually discussed between managers, and depending on the topics, in that visibility might go higher. So one of the byproducts of my projects were they were called something like executive summaries. Okay. So top management was reading that and cascading that message to employees. What that means? It means that all the work in the background, which involved some data crunching, in essence, some sort of IT solution as well to support creation of that report, was not so relevant. It didn't matter as much to the consumers of the project product, to say it that way. What mattered the most was the accuracy, visual appearance, mostly. So getting a typo in such a report, or missing a year, saying, for example, report is for 2019 instead of 2020, was a big problem. And there was actually a whole team of people checking just that to make sure that that makes sense, because communication, how should I say, the reputation of the communication department, HR department, top management would be damaged to a certain degree if that was not fully correct, because they really care about leaving a proper impression on the employees. So this is how I would compare it. While, as mentioned, coming into that HR industry, I was thinking more about making sure that the things work, and if the end product is not super pretty, then it doesn't really add much value. And I was wrong.